Hey friends, my name is Dr. Heather Carden, and thanks for joining me here at Ask Dr. Heather. Sorry it's been about a week since I have gone live. I'm getting a whole bunch of content ready for my brand new launch of my old website, Reincarnated. If you haven't heard, my website actually got hacked by a bunch of people. I don't know what that means, but it got hacked, so we've taken it down, but that gives us an amazing opportunity to revitalize it, revamp it, rejuvenate it with a whole bunch of new recipes, a lot of new amazing articles and research has actually come about in the low carb ketogenic lifestyle. So we're going to be posting a lot of great information in about the next 3 weeks, but I just want to first introduce myself. If you're brand new to Ask Dr. Heather, my name is Dr. Heather Carden. I am the co-owner of Carden Center for Wellness in Overland Park, Kansas. I have been practicing for 25 years alongside my husband as a functional wellness physician. I love this platform where I can actually take a moment out of my busy schedule. I'm also the mom of 4 amazing young men, ages 19 to 27, and I can actually share some health and wellness information. What I did is I found myself not having enough time with patients, or patients would ask me about their family, their friends, or I'd be at a ball game with my kids or at a church activity. People would say, hey, what was that recipe again? Or how did you do that? Or anyway, ask me about other things. So I found this amazing platform called Facebook and now Instagram or TikTok, where I can share amazing recipes and help better answer questions that you may have about common health and wellness topics. So every Thursday I have a comment, just a live FAQ where you can actually ask health topics that you've been maybe worried about or concerned about. And then as people actually filter questions in, I go live and hopefully address a topic that you have questions about. So today we're going to talk about that age-old question, alcohol. I know everybody wants a permission to say, yes, you can drink alcohol. Yes, it's fine on any diet. Everybody wants to find that. I'm sure if you Google search, I do refer to Google as Dr. Google, because you can find all the medical information that you want. You can just keep validating to find it. But let's just talk about the basics of what alcohol is. And then we'll talk about the decision that you ultimately have to make for yourself. And that's what it is. You actually have to make the decision yourself. So, hey, Sherry, thanks for joining me. Let me know where you are. Yeah, my throat is a little foggy. Sorry about that. I had a bunch of Zooms this week. We had a lot of snow in Kansas City, so I did a lot of Zooms this week with patients reviewing labs and food panels and hormone panels, so my voice is a little sketchy. So I actually feel like I'm yelling, but let's just talk about this. We've been in the pandemic now for almost 2 years. It's hard to believe that. So we talk about alcohol that you drink, whether it's wine or beer or spirits, tequila, whatever it is. Think about alcohol. We've been actually using hand sanitizer like crazy the last 2 years. Why do we use hand sanitizer? To sterilize our hands. And you would never have a blood draw at a doctor's office if they didn't use cotton or alcohol and actually sterilize your skin before they put a needle in there. If they didn't do that, you would freak out. Or if a doctor's office didn't sterilize their hands before they did a procedure, like look in your mouth, or like your dentist didn't sterilize things, you would absolutely want them to sterilize the area before they punctured it. Or you'd actually, everyone's doing hand sanitizer. Well, alcohol that you put on your skin or that you put in your hand, or like gasoline, is actually an alcohol. So we use alcohol on our hands or on our skin to sterilize. Well, we also know that our gut needs to have about 500 million healthy gut bugs. People are taking probiotics because we know that things like antibiotics strip our body of gut bugs. And when we actually decline gut bugs, we get a lot of gut issues. Things like SIBO, things like leaky gut, we get irritable bowel when we don't have enough gut flora. So if we're drinking alcohol that strips our body of gut flora, a lot of times people will overdrink and they'll get diarrhea because alcohol shuts off our anti-diuretic hormones. So again, you get a lot of diarrhea, or you overconsume and you get vomiting, or you get things like that. Or maybe you have a small gluten allergy and you overconsume beer, which is from that. Or maybe you have a small yeast infection, you overconsume fermented alcohol like wine or beer, things like that. And that totally disrupts your gut flora, let alone from just the simple aspect that it is alcohol. And we're all trying to get healthy gut flora because the gut-brain balance is so important. Every time you drink alcohol, you're stripping your body of gut flora. It's that simple science. So you can simply just put it in that. But I know most people are trying to say, well, does it fit in my macros? Can I have this, or which is a better alcohol for me to have? So that's a decision that you can make. Yes, they do make keto-friendly alcohol, keto-friendly wines. And so what that actually means are keto-friendly beverages, keto-friendly beer, keto-friendly spirits All that means is that they're lower in carbohydrates and they have a slower glycemic index, which means it doesn't spike up your blood sugar and it comes down much lower. But 100% of all alcohol is mood altering. 100% of all alcohol actually does, again, when it's mood altering, it also cuts off your antidiuretic hormone. So we know a lot of people, about 79 to 80% of us are already dehydrated. Signs of dehydration can be constipation, migraines, muscle soreness, muscle stiffness. A lot of things can cause dehydration. Alcohol piled on top of that can cause dehydration. We also know people who want to do a low-carb ketogenic diet are people who actually want to lose some unwanted fat. So when you're drinking alcohol, we know alcohol can lead to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease because it's straight sugar. Wine is made from grapes, mostly things like whiskey, tequila, rum, scotch, vodka, gin. Those things are made from potatoes, they're made from grapes, they're made from wheat, they're made from barley, they're made from rye. They're all made from grains. So if you're on a real ketogenic diet that is grain-free, when you're drinking alcohol, you're drinking grains, right? So if you're having a true ketogenic diet, you're really not eating a ketogenic diet if you're having grains. I know most people say, well, tequila is not from a grain. That is true. That's why people advocate for drinking tequila, but it still is mood altering. So if you've ever drank alcohol, I'm not going to be pessimist and say I haven't drank alcohol because I absolutely have, but I don't drink hardly any anymore. But what happens is when you drink alcohol, maybe it does make you feel better, feel looser, to maybe help you feel less inhibited, but it also maybe leads to less inhibition is I'm going to have a few crackers, I'm going to have a few chips, it's okay if I just drive through, it's okay if I break my intermittent fasting, because it truly does do that. That mood altercation does actually break that inhibition, which means you're more likely to overeat, you're more likely to oversnack, then you're going to get more calories. So maybe that 1, 2 to 3 carb drink can lead to a lot of other carbs, a lot of other snacking. It can lead to that whole guilt that lies within breaking that intermittent fast. So I'm not saying never ever, certainly at someone's wedding, someone's bachelorette party or something like that, absolutely you want to have a glass of champagne, you want to have a martini, which is a smarter drink, but not an everyday, every week occasion, I would say, because the reasons we just mentioned. It does strip your gut of all that microflora, which we're so I would say, so passionately trying to get that gut flora back balanced and trying to get that gut terrain back balanced. Even the American Cancer Society says that alcohol leads to the top 7 cancers. I can post that information. Dr. Amen shared that in one of his recent podcasts, that alcohol is leading to the top 7 cancers. We also know that chemotherapy actually leads to cancers as well. So I don't know why I went on a tangent. I was just quoting some of the quotes from his, but we do know that alcohol is not really good for your brain or your body. I know that people do enjoy it, and people are always asking me, what can I have? What can I have? Yes, wine is a carbohydrate. It comes from grapes. Grapes break down into, when you ferment grapes and you vacuum dry them down, they actually break into wine. So wine is carbohydrates. Beer comes from wheat or from barley. They do make gluten-free beer. If you want to talk about liquors, I'm not really an expert on things like rum and scotch and barley and gin and vodka, but they do come from grains. Like there's vodka that comes from potatoes, vodka that comes from grapes. There are ones that come from, whiskey comes from, I think, where does whiskey come from?
Corn, wheat.
Oh, corn and wheat. Dr. Ralph walked in the door. Barley, corn, wheat. So those are all actually grains. So again, just think of that. Either you're having a grain that you're trying to avoid in your daily diet, or again, you're going to get the alcohol that just strips your body, and then it is mood altering. So we look at alcohol poisoning, even at the mildest level, is that it does alter our mental state. You can get things like vomiting, gagging, diarrhea, disrupting the microflora. It does cause you to be pale, clammy. It can actually lead to shortness of breath, which we know can alter your heart rate variability. It can ultimately lead to liver damage, just like an overconsumption of Motrin or non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. The liver can do the same thing, leading to, again, cirrhosis of the liver, like in overconsumption of sugar or carbohydrates can lead to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. It can actually lead to liver damage. Yes, Pauline, I'm Irish. Well, so am I. My mom's sister was redheaded. My sister was a redhead, green eyes. Irish nose, Irish built. So I'm not for sure what that has to do with it, but yes, we have a lot of Irish in my family side. So I would just want to give the information because I know that alcohol and drinking is a staple of our society. We do relate it to family gatherings, a social gathering. We relate it to romantic gatherings as well. But we also do this. We also say, oh, there's a beer belly, because why? And we also know that beer can actually put that weight on around our belly that we know is not good for us. Is one of those biggest predictors of heart disease, is that circumference around your belly. So when you're drinking, choose wisely, and then also say, well, is it really worth it? Because we know our liver has to clear all that out, and our liver is what's going to take the biggest hit. Also our gut, even if it's just 2 or 3 ounces, you're going to kill all that gut flora off when you're drinking. So I just want to address that, and just want to say, when you're drinking, just again take that all into mindset that alcohol is going to strip your gut flora. There could potentially be a hidden food allergy. If you are trying to be keto or low carb, remember it's a grain-free diet, so you need to make sure that where the sources are coming from. They also do label some alcohols. They say keto or low carb friendly. All that means simply is that it has lower carbs and has a slower glycemic index, which means it's not going to rise as quickly as some other ones. So just choose wisely. So just inform yourself. You can go on the website and find a lot of information. Liquor stores now are actually having low carb keto sections, whether it's beer, whether it's wine, whether it is spirits. But just go back to the basics. It's all about your gut, treating your gut right. So is it really worth it to strip all the gut flora? Is it really worth it to have some mood altering things going on while you're drinking? Or 79% of us are dehydrated. Get your water in first, because alcohol also cuts off your anti-diuretic hormone and causes further dehydration. So hopefully you found some value in this. Oh, I didn't write down everybody's names who wrote in about alcohol, but hopefully this helped answer those questions you have about, I wasn't going to give anyone permission to drink. That is ultimately up to you. Hopefully you're over 21 if you're listening, but you can go ahead and hit that share button. This is absolutely meant to be shared. It's meant to be educational, and I really want to help answer those questions you have about who should drink, when you should drink. And the last question is, if you're going to drink, when should you drink? You absolutely want to drink earlier in the day, hopefully on a weekend day, like around the noon to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock hour, where you can actually burn that sugar off. That way, if you're out playing, hopefully a snowy day like today, you can go out and play in the snow, you can go sledding, you can go skiing, or if it's a nice summer day, you can go play baseball, you can go for a run, you can do something safe, not driving, but you can burn all that sugar off. So the minute you consume it, your body doesn't store that in the muscle bellies, doesn't get stored as glycogen, it gets burned right away. So I see what you're saying, Pauline. But again, make those choices wisely. So people always seem to have a reason of why they can drink, or you can always have a reason why not to drink. But my suggestion would be, if you are going to drink, you never want to drink more than 2 ounces 2 days in a row, because then it's too hard for your liver to clear it. Drink earlier in the day. You definitely don't want to drink at 8 to 10 at night and then go to bed, have all that sugar weighing on your belly and all that sugar weighing on your brain, and then expect your whole body to actually digest that at night. Because we know that alcohol does alter your sleep pattern. It does not allow you to get into that deep therapeutic sleep that you need to restore your sleep. It alters your insulin. It alters your cortisol balance. We also know it increases your estrogenic hormone called aromatase, which leads to more belly fat deposition. So we also see that people who drink more alcohol, who have more carbohydrates, have a higher estrogen, lower testosterone ratio. So we also know if you're struggling with low testosterone, male or female, and you have a higher estrogen level than desired, you definitely want to ditch the alcohol. And if you are going to drink earlier in the day, drink a lower carbohydrate, drink something that's probably from a fruit rather than from a grain, something there is a vodka that's from grape. Again, I'm not an expert in alcohol, but there also are low carb wines that are going to be, again, if you have some type of yeast issue, you definitely don't want to drink anything fermented, let's again, alcohol or a beer, even if it's calories, because it will lead to a yeast infection like a thrush or Candida albicans. So you guys have a great evening. Hopefully it'll help answer your questions. I am going to talk more about diabetes this week, so I got a ton of questions on how and when, or is it really possible to reverse type 2 diabetes? And it absolutely is. I can tell you the last couple weeks, we've done a lot of blood work on people in the office, and we've been seeing underneath the age of 18, so I'm going to call them children and young adults, having higher than average, higher than normal, pre-diabetic and diabetic insulin loads. And I think that the problem is that we see thin adults, young adults, and we think, gosh, there's no way they can be diabetic or pre-diabetic, and they're absolutely seeing them on blood work. So we've got to change that trajectory. And so we're going to tell you how to do that this week. So you guys have a great day, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.